Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video we are going to see how we can create a React application using npm and how we can run it, and as well as we are going to go through all the folders which we have in the React application. Okay, so if you are new here, please consider subscribing so you won't miss any future content. Now let's start the video. Yes, as you can see, I am in the playground folder where we have all the our previous files, basically HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, also the project files. Okay, so here let's create one more folder calling it as React, and all the source code will be in this folder. And also, I'm going to push the code into the GitHub so you can refer from there as well. Okay, so once we go here, we have to create a React.js application. Okay, so it's not like how we create HTML and CSS. We have to use npm. Okay, so for that, either you can click here and open command prompt, or just right click on the in the folder and you will see open in terminal. Okay, anything is fine. It's like I am using terminal, so I'll just open terminal and hope you can see this. Let me do this. So right now you can see I am inside the IQ playground folder and React folder. Okay, here I want to create my first React application. Okay, so let's see how we can do. So as I said in the last video, npm we use for installing the packages, but we want to execute React application. Basically, we want to fetch the whatever React snippet code we have into our system. So for that, we have to use npx. Okay, and space. The command for React application is you can write create hyphen React hyphen app. Okay, and then space whatever project name you want to give. Okay, so I'll say practice app. Okay, and make sure there should be no capital letters, no special characters, and no hyphens. Okay, you can give underscore but no hyphens. Okay, this is the rule of the application here. Like whenever you are creating, it doesn't accept those formatting, but you can go with the small letters and later you can change the name. Okay, so now if I hit enter, it will start creating the application in our folder wherever we told this to be happen. Okay, now we are using npx here. If you remember, npx is node package execute. Okay, so we are executing our React application in our system. Okay, so if I go back to the folder, we should be able to see, yes, you can see practice app is created inside the React app. Okay, so this is how you can create a React app, and now you see it's just downloading all the dependencies whatever is needed for the React application. Okay, so it will take some time, so I'll be back after this installation completed. Okay. Yes. So as you can see, the installation of React app is completed, and you can see here it's saying at the end happy hacking. Okay. So this is what message will come after the installation is successful. And if I scroll up, you can see here what exactly happened here. So npx create React app, once we do, it will install the packages, whatever packages are needed. Basically, you can see here, these are the packages, and 258 packages are looking for the fund, so it install 258 packages or so. And then what will happen is, here you can see it checking like vulnerable packages or not, something like that. And after this packages installation is done, we can see here it's showing us few commands, npm commands, which we can use to run our application. Okay, you can see npm start. This is the one command which is saying start the development server. It means we can start the server here. Okay, for our React application to run, and some other commands to do some other things. Okay, right now we are focusing on npm start. Okay, so I'll tell you one more thing here. After this, you can see here what it's saying is change directory. It's saying us to change directory. Here right now we are in currently playground React folder, but in order to start the application, we have to go inside the this particular folder, this particular project, which is practice app. Okay, and then run this npm start command to run this application. Okay, so if I go back to the folder here, you can see practice app is created inside the React, and if I open this, you can see this is the folder structure we are going to get once the installation is successful. Okay, so now let's do the whatever it's saying here. Let's do cd and practice app. Okay, I'll click enter, and now you can see I am inside the practice app. And now if I do npm start, it should start the server. Okay, so basically in html, we know that live server we have in order to see the changes. Okay, the same thing inbuilt will be having inside the react. We don't need to use live server anymore for react.js. It will be directly running into our system, okay, using the npm start command. And once we run it, you can see this is how we can see compiled successfully. And you can see local, it's giving this localhost 3000, and it's giving my ip as well on your network. We can check this as well. Okay, so but you can see localhost 3000. Okay, this is the port number. We have to be careful what port it is running. Whenever we start a react application, it will going to run on the 3000 port. Okay, this thing we have to remember every time. And once we open this, you can see this particular page will be appear here. Okay, so this is the first react app. Once you run it, it will be visible like this. Okay, so let's see what are the folder structures we have, and let me explain you what all are those do in the react application. Okay, yes. So now let's open this into our VS Code. So let me open one more terminal here and do code space dot. Okay. So whenever you are opening VS Code, you should be make sure that you are inside the folder. Okay, inside your React folder, not outside the folder. Okay. So that you have to make sure. And now you see this is what it's open. And we can see here our all the folders whatever is needed for react application, it is here. Okay, so let me just zoom in here so that we can see it properly. And yeah, so now you can see this is the folder structure we will get basically with the react application. Let us explain what are all those things do. Okay, so the first thing we can see is node modules folder. Okay, so this is the folder where all the dependencies whatever is needed for the react application will be there inside this. Okay, if I open this, you can see all the folder, all the packages will be there inside the node modules folder. Okay, so we can go through that later, but yeah, so basically node modules contain all the libraries or the packages which is required for the application to run. Okay, in be inside the node modules. Okay, next up we'll have public folder. Okay, in this folder we'll have our html file. Okay, so you see in that the other things are not necessary, but index.html will we have. Okay, so if I open it, let me show you what content we'll have inside the html. Okay, so now you see here we'll have head tag. Inside that there are some meta tags and all is there. And if I scroll here, you see title is there. This title we can change. Okay, if I go back to the application where it is running, you see react app is there. Okay, that we can change to our app. Okay, let's say practice app, and if I save it, it automatically reflect there. Okay, because the server is already running, so we don't need to refresh anything. Okay, so practice app, that is there. And then you see we have a body tag here. Okay, inside body tag we have only single div. Okay, this is nothing, no script is there. We can remove as well. There is comments we can remove. So you see only one single div we have inside our html page. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we are going to use JSX, okay, JavaScript XML, which is a combination of JavaScript plus HTML. Okay, that will going to compile automatically and put it inside this div. Okay, which is behind the scenes. Okay, we don't need to worry about, we don't need to compile it and then put it here. No, it's not like that. It will automatically compiles this. Okay, and it will be kept here. Okay, and as I said, it will be a single page application. It means this is the only file we'll have. Okay, index.html. Okay, there is no other file we have. Okay, so this is the index.html which we'll have in the public folder. Okay, and then we have src folder. Okay, so we'll come to the src folder later. Let's see the other things what we have here. Okay, so the first thing we have dot git ignore. Okay, so what does dot git ignore will do is whichever things we don't want to send or put it in our github. Okay, that we are going to put it inside this. Suppose here you see node modules folder is mentioned inside the dot git ignore. It means we are, whenever we push some code into the github, we are not going to push the node modules folder. Okay, the reason is because it is having all the dependencies which is related to the project, and it can be much size. Okay, this much files will be there. That's the reason we are not going to push these libraries into the GitHub. Okay, that's why in this particular git ignore file, we are going to ignore it whenever we push the code into GitHub. Okay, and the other things are there whichever is not required to push into the GitHub. Okay, right now we have important one is node modules only. The other ones we can remove it for now. Okay, if we want. So yeah, so the git ignore will make sure that whatever you mention inside this will not going to push into GitHub. Okay, that's the use of the git ignore. Okay, then we have package hyphen log.json and package.json. Okay, let's see what is package.json. Let me open it, and once I open it, here you can see all the configurations and the dependencies will be there inside package.json. Okay, so if I say dependencies, it means whatever dependencies are required to run our project will be there inside this. Okay, so suppose you can see here dependency tab is there, and inside this we have React DOM, React scripts. Okay, so these three are very important in order to create a React application and run React application. Okay, so these packages we need to have it inside our node module. So if we want it that way, then we have to have the dependency names inside the package.json. Okay, so whenever we want to install it, we can install very easily what are all the dependencies, and we can see there here. Okay, and also you can see we have scripts. Okay, so script is nothing but when we run, right, like npm start, npm run build, something like that. Okay, so right now, just now we did npm start, right? So this particular command will going to be executed. You can see react script start. Okay, so this is the command which will going to run our React application. Okay, but with the help of this key, we have to run it like npm run start, npm start, or something like that. Okay, so these scripts will be here, and you can change this script. Suppose instead of start, I'll say Elias. Okay, so let me open terminal here, and I'll show you how I can run this. I'll just need to stop the server, the previous server. So Control C and Y and enter. This will stop the server. Let me close the terminal as well, here and here. So now if I do npm run Elias, okay. So run also we can do. It is optional when you are having start command. Okay. So suppose if you have start command, then the run is optional. But if you are changing the name, then run need to be there. Okay. Then Elias. Okay. Run npm run Elias. I did, and you see here is the script. Okay, and you see it started, and it will start the server now. You see starting the development server, and it started the server as well, and we can see the same data or the files which we saw earlier. Okay, so let it load, and now you can see we can see the same thing. So in the script tag you can change the commands. Okay, what are all the commands needed for the application. Okay, so let me revert back to start only, and let me stop the server. Okay, and you can see here we have this package versions. Okay, so these package versions will be here with the dependencies also, and few other things will be there which is not necessary right now. And you see one more file we have is package log.json, right? So here also we have the same thing, but it will be having some detailed information, okay, about the dependencies only. So the package log.json will have actual dependencies of the packages, you can say that. Okay, so you can see like the most of the stuff we don't understand, but it will have the detailed information about the packages. Okay, so this is what package JSON and package log JSON. Okay, then we have readme.md. Okay, so readme.md is file where we explain what our project is. Okay, so that everyone can see when we push our code to GitHub. Okay, and yeah, and let's move on to src. Okay, let's see what is src. Src is our source folder where our all actual code will be written there. Okay, so if I open src, you will see we have index.js, index.css, app.js, app.css, app.test.js is not necessary right now, logo is not necessary, and all other files are not necessary. Only index.js, index.css, app.js, app.css is necessary right now. Okay, so if I open index.js, you can see here what we have here. Okay, so the first thing we have imported React.js. Okay, so this import I am going to explain you in some like in future videos what is import is, but we have to get the React.js inside our component. Okay, so this is one of the component we have, and you see on the line number 7. Okay, here document dot get element by id of root. So if you remember from HTML file, we have this div ID called root, and for this reference, for reference of this div, we are taking inside the index.js. See, document.getElement by ID, and here only we are binding everything. Okay, whatever component we are going to create, that will be bind to this document.getElement by ID, and it will be render once we start our application. Okay, so this is how this will be there. Okay, and you see we have here app. Okay, app component. Okay, this I'll explain you what exactly it is. If I open app.js file here, you can see we have a function. Okay, so function is app, and it is returning some HTML. You see div elements are there, but in JavaScript it doesn't happen, right? Return, you have to return only string, number, etc. But here, as it is a JSX component, we are able to return a HTML here. Okay, so this is a functional component which we are going to discuss in future. But you can see we have a function which is calling it as app, and inside that we are returning. Okay, we are returning. Okay, if you write before return anything h1 tag, it will not going to work at all. Okay, it will give us some error. Okay, but we have to return the HTML in order to render in the browser. Okay, that's how this JSX component will work. Okay, so let's change some out content here. Instead of this, let's write icubecode. Okay, and let's run it. Okay, so what are all the other things you can see here, like what is import and what is this export and all? I'm going to explain you in future videos, but right now you just think of this is the app function which is going to bind to our document.getElement by ID root. Okay, it will going to bind to root element, and inside this we are going to return our HTML. Okay, this you have to think of right now. So let's open this again, and you see now we are able to see icubecode here. Okay, so if I change to hello world, and we can see hello world appear here. Okay, so basically with the help of React components, what we can do is we can write JavaScript plus HTML. Okay, HTML need to be written, but JavaScript doesn't. Okay, let's see how we can do JavaScript here. So before return statement, we can write our JavaScript. Suppose let me write console.log. Okay, and here also I'll say hello world. Okay, I'll save it. I'm just going back. I'm not refreshing it. I'm just opening the developer tools. Okay. And now you see in the console log, we can see hello world as well. So now you can see we are able to write HTML as well inside a single component and the JavaScript as well. Okay. So this is what it is. Okay. JavaScript we have to write before return. HTML we have to write inside the return. Okay. Inside the return we have to write HTML. Okay. So this is how the JSX component work, and this is what the folder structure of a React project. Yes. So this is about the getting started with the React application, how we can create a React application and how to run it. And also we saw like what are all the folders and the files is required in the React JS. And also we saw how we can use the JSX component. Okay. We didn't get into the deep into the functional component or the component of React JS, but we saw how we can run JavaScript and HTML with a single file. Okay, so yes, this is about getting started and the folder structure. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, please consider subscribing and give it a like. I'll be back with more content in the next video. Thank you.